Jerry Brown here with Jerry Brown Travels.
Lori here.
Well, in this video, we're going to talk about travel insurance, evacuation insurance. Do you think you need it? We personally, how long have we been using travel insurance, Lori?
Maybe about 20 years.
20 years, and we've had to use it. And so I'm going to let Lori tell you a little story here.
Yeah, when we traveling in South America, so I was in Amazon and I fell down. I broke my pelvis. Oh man, that was so painful.
Yeah, and so we were in Brazil then, and the care was terrible there. And well, I was so happy that we had our travel insurance set up because I was in a panic. I mean, I didn't know what to do. They speak Portuguese. We don't speak Portuguese. Well, I called the insurance company and they actually sent out a doctor, and he came into South America and he took total control, and he evaluated Lori to see if she could fly commercially or if we needed to have her fly out on a private jet. And so the long and the short of it was that we got her back to the United States, that's where we had our medical care, and she then was checked into hospital and taken care of. And we were so glad that we had that. We actually had two policies. We always get a medical insurance policy, which then it covered her time in the hospital. That was a medical part of it. And then we then had the evacuation part of it. And so they were able to fly her out. And I was so happy, just took the whole stress away. So the first thing I want to talk about is getting a travel insurance policy. Now, you can get a policy that will take care of your luggage, will take care of your plane reservations, and that's your basic policy. Then you can up it up, and so you can get your medical, like we say, $50,000, and then you can get a evacuation policy. Another policy that you can get along with that, it's cancel for any reason policy. And that is a really good one because it'll cover things like your luggage, your airlines reservations, evacuation insurance, medical insurance. It'll cover a lot more of coverage than the two that we typically get, which is the medical and the evacuation. Especially today, it's a good advice to check that one out. It costs a little bit more. It can cost you anywhere from 15 to 30% more than a regular policy, but it will help you out in a lot of areas that you don't realize. One of the other things that you want to make sure is that in our particular case where Lori was hurt there in South America, and she was covered for evacuation, okay? I wasn't covered because I wasn't injured. I was okay. And so at that time, I didn't realize that because, again, I had never faced a situation like that. Well, when we needed to bring her back, the insurance company says, we're going to cover Lori, but Mr. Brown, you can keep traveling. You can keep going. You are not going to be covered. So what happened was I had to pay my own airfare back. They flew Lori back first class, and so I didn't want her to fly, on a seat by herself. The doctor came with us through the whole flight back, so I had to buy a first class seat too. So make sure your policy will allow two people to fly back if one person gets injured. So will your insurance cover you when you're traveling with the coronavirus? And specifically for that, check with the company that you are investigating and see if they have that coverage. There's a good chance they're not going to be able to cover you for that. Some people think that they will be covered through their Medicare, and that's not going to happen. Medicare will not cover you for travel insurance. The evacuation part of that especially. So don't count on Medicare to cover you.
And make sure they write on your name correctly, same like in your passport. If you're traveling in Mexico, your name has just one letter wrong from your passport, that is not gonna work at all. So we have all of these experience. Your name have to be exactly the same like in your passport.
Yeah. Like I say, we get $50,000 medical insurance. What does that mean? That means if we are injured when we're traveling, say we have to go to a doctor, it's an emergency medical. You can't go because you have a runny nose or you got a sore throat or something like that. But if you're in an emergency, you break your arm or you get a cut and you need stitches, stuff like that, that medical part of that will cover that. Clarification on the evacuation is that is if they can't take care of you there, or you don't feel comfortable in that particular hospital in that country, then you can ask to be evacuated to a facility that you will like better. Yeah, so what happened to us is that we were covered, but we had to pay for the doctors there. We had to pay for the hospital there. We had to pay for all those expenses out of pocket. And so then I saved all of the receipts. I got the reports from the doctors from the hospital, and I submitted those to the insurance company. I had 90 days to submit those to the insurance company to get reimbursed.
Yeah.
And all in all, we only got reimbursed about 75% of the total bill. So you're not always going to get 100%, but definitely you have to be proactive. If you think that you're going to go up there, you're going to show them your little card that you have the insurance and they're going to pay for it and you're not going to have to pay a dime. That isn't going to happen, and especially in third world countries. Well, we have a lot of experience with travel insurance. Just this year, traveling in Cambodia, we had a scare. And what happened, Lori?
Wow, I thought I was come down with Canora. Wow, I thought I come down with coronavirus. And I was so scared, so I checked in the hospital. It checked about 8-hour testing and everything, but I'm not come down with coronavirus, but I end up to be with the regular flu. I just have a stomach flu and thing like that. And then that case, I cannot collect the insurance policy, so I had to pay off my pocket.
But because it was just a regular flu, they don't cover that. So we had to pay cash out of pocket to take care of the bill there at the hospital. Get your travel insurance. That's what we're trying to say here.
Yeah.
Also, what you want to do before traveling, you want to check out, like the CDC, you want the World Health Organization, you want to check the countries that you're going to be traveling in and making sure that it is safe there and you feel comfortable about it. Another thing that we do is when we're booking our airline flights, we try to book directly with the airline. We don't use like Expedia or Kayak, any of these other services that do the booking for you, because if you get a cancellation, if you run into some problems and you're dealing directly with the airline, you'll get a better response. Because the airline, if you don't, the airline will say, we can't do anything about it. We can't give you your money back. You booked with an outside company and you didn't book directly with us. Sometimes it just comes out to, like $5 a day or something like that. Well, it gives us peace of mind to know that we're covered and we can be evacuated. And that's the main thing. I think I get the most peace of mind is that in the case that in the case where you had to get evacuated, you want that to just go real smooth. So I want to give you a quick update on what's happening with our Patreon account. Through Patreon, about $125. And so we've been matching it with $125. So we've been giving about $250 to the food banks and different places around Mexico here. Thank you for participating in that program.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now we're going to go.